All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and infinite glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Waha, Rachach, Kudash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. Peace, safety, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's pushing this word true and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom to you, brothers. I want to do a lesson to the Supreme Power Yahweh outside on this article that just came out. It says Walmart, Target CEOs privately warn Trump tariffs could lead to empty shelves. You know, and the brothers out there in New Orleans, they did a lesson on this as well. You know how these tariffs they're gonna lead to empty shelves coming in weeks, not months, in weeks, which is weeks is right around the corner. You know. I'm reading it again. It says Walmart, Target CEOs privately warn Trump tariffs could lead to empty shelves soon. And that's what's going to happen, man. And it reads here, the chief executives of Walmart and Target privately warned President Trump this week that his sweeping tariff policy could disrupt supply chains and lead to empty shelves in the coming weeks. You see that? In the coming weeks, not months, the coming weeks. This is right around the corner. Sources familiar with the White House meeting told CBS News the CEO of Home Depot was also present at Home Slakia. The CEO of Home Depot was also present at Monday's closed-door meeting. Was first to report on the retail executives' warnings to Mr. Trump. Target and Walmart declined to comment on the specific warnings following their meeting with Trump on Monday. Both companies did issue statements. We had a productive meeting with President Trump and his team and appreciated the opportunity to share our insights, Walmart said in a statement. Target, in a similar statement, said we had a productive meeting with President Trump and our retail peers to discuss the path forward on trade, and we remain committed to delivering value for American customers. The two retailers have publicly warned that Mr. Trump tariffs could lead to higher prices weeks after Trump's election win. Walmart SFO John David Rainey told CNBC, we never want to raise prices, but there probably will be cases where prices will go up for consumers. In the last month, Target CEO Brian Cornell told CNBC the consumer will likely see price increases over the next couple of days from tariffs planned on imports from Mexico. Nothing Target heavily relies on Mexican produce to stock its grocery shelves in the winter. You know, but y'all brothers, y'all pretty much get the point. I'm gonna read this right here. The Trump administration has imposed 145% tariffs on Chinese goods and 10% tariffs on most other countries. Mr. Trump also announced steep reciprocal tariffs on dozens of other U.S. trading partners earlier this month, but paused most of the non-China levies for 90 days, or levies. The import duties have routed markets in recent weeks and promoted fears about rising consumer prices. Slower economic growth and supply chain shortfalls. The Trump administration has considered forming a working group to handle any strains on supply chains caused by the China tariffs, CBS News reported last week. Mr. Trump has stood by his tariff strategy, casting it as a way to boost U.S. manufacturing and stymie what he views as unfair trade practices. But he has indicated he would like to negotiate new trade deals with other countries. The president told reporters Tuesday he expects the 145% 145% China tariffs to come down substantially, but it won't be zero. There it is, man. You know, It's coming in weeks, man. It's gonna be right around the corner. It's coming in weeks, man. You know, Babylon the Great, the uh, economic, this economy is starting to crash. The economic of Babylon the Great is gonna fall, man. You know, and we're happy, man. It's gonna be empty shells, man. Let's get that in the book of Second Esdras. This is the book of Second Esdras, chapter 6, verse 22, and it reads, book of Second Esdras, chapter 6, verse 22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And that's coming in a couple of weeks, man. In weeks, which is right around the corner. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. It says, shall the sown places. What are the sown places? You know, these Walmarts, these Costco's, these HEBs, you know, these Targets, these all these certain grocery stores that people go to buy their necessities and buy their groceries. You know, these will be the these will be the storehouses. You know, the sown places. Because right now, you can go to a nearby Walmart or a nearby Target or a nearby HEB and go grocery shopping, and most of the shelves will be sown. But in the coming weeks, man, that's all gonna be gone. You know, it's gonna look like what happened back in 2020, but it's gonna be worse than that, to the point that you ain't gonna find no pack of rice in the aisle, or you're not gonna find not one item. You know, because a lot of them, these storehouses, they're gonna be turned into FEMA camps and concentration camps, man. Because they're in Jacob's trouble. They're gonna take people and throw them in them storehouses, man. They're gonna be used for storehouses. These storehouses are going to be used for FEMA camps, man, and it's right around the corner, too. And it's ultimately all going to lead to Jacob's trouble. Lord willing, Baba Gashad, Baba Gashad, Baba Gashad. This be the year that Jacob's trouble fully amplified, you know. It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. That's right, man. This book of Second Esdras, chapter 16 and verse 21. Matter of fact, I'm going to start at I'm going to start at 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars and the power shall stand in fear, and the beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? That's right, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginnings of famine and great death, the beginning of wars and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils, what should I do when these evils shall come? So, in essence, man, these are the beginnings of sorrows and great mournings, man. The beginnings of famine and great death, the beginning of wars and the power shall stand in fear. So we're living in them times, man, when things are going to get real chaotic out here, man. Things are going to get crazy out here, man. You know, the power of your help us outside. Dread is better be unleashed out here, man. The dreadful day of your help us outside is right around the corner, man. You know, when these people, man, they're going to be looking at each other. They're going to be weeping and gnashing their teeth looking for food, man. Verse 21, behold, visuals shall be so good chief upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword and famine and great confusion. That's right, behold visuals. Hey, if I'm not mistaken, before Trump got in office, he said that he was going to lower the prices. You know, we all heard that, right? When he said that he was going to lower the prices on gas, he's going to lower the prices on food. And when he got in office, he ended up setting that tariff. He said a tariff. He said it's going to be 145% tariff on China, which ultimately is going to spike up the economy, man. It's going to make the groceries go up to the point that some one where one pack of egg is going to be like what $60, man. You see that? You see, they should be visuals should be so good to partner that they should think themselves to be in good case. A lot of you people thought yourself, a lot of you Babylonians thought y'all were going to be in good case, especially you Edomites. I mean, especially you Jakes out there, man, that want to trust in Esau, Edom. It says, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Verse 22, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. That's right, man, plain as day. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. That's right, so for many of you Jakes out there, you Israelites, the Lord Yahweh outside is going to destroy you, man. A lot of people that dwell upon earth are going to perish of famine, and that's coming in the next weeks, in a couple weeks, man. Lord wanting this be the year, man, that Jacob's trouble goes go full fledged, man. Because the average Babylonian, the average American is eating, 4 times a day, going out to these different fast food restaurants, these fast foods, living deliciously, man, just doing whatever they want to do. But that's all gonna come to naught real soon. So a lot of you Jakes out there, man, a lot of you people out there are gonna starve to death, man, in these coming months, man. In these coming weeks, Salakia, in these coming weeks. It ain't gonna be months. It's coming in the coming weeks, man. Because months. I believe it's not gonna take months. Because months, that's about 30 days. Each 30 days, But Lord willing, this goes full flesh, man. Full fledged. This book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16. This book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16. In verse 45, and therefore they that labor in vain. That's right, man. Those of you that, there's going to have a lot of people going to try to stock up, And ultimately, they're not going to be in their places where they stock up in their houses, Verse 46, for strangers shall reap their fruits and spoil their goods, overthrow their houses and take their children captives, for in captivity and famine shall they get children. Verse 47, and they that occupy their merchandise with robbery, the more they deck their cities, their houses, their possessions, and their own persons. That's right, so a lot of these people, man, they're going to try to, do all this stocking up, but that's all going to come to naught, because they going to get, their houses are going to get kicked down, man. There's a scripture that says, let's see if I can find it real quick. Probably on, I think, chapter 15, let's see. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So in essence, man, a man is not going to have no pity upon his neighbor, because when his neighbor see his other neighbor, when he see his neighbor is coming with groceries and come in with, possessions, man, he's gonna get that rifle or that AK-47 that he has, and he's gonna knock on the door and he's gonna point the gun at his neighbor and say, "Give that all up, man." And if his neighbor has a weapon as well, he ain't gonna give that up, and it's gonna be a fight to the death, man. That's the type of, you know, days we're coming into, man. The times of Jacob's trouble. That ultimately is gonna lead to the time of Jacob's trouble. Lord willing, man, it can lead into Jacob's trouble this summer, man. Jacob's trouble can pop off this summer. This summer, who knows, man? You know. But these are the days we're coming into, man. It says right here, for the sword and destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So they're not going to care about what the government, what the mayor says. They're going to do whatever the hell they want to do. There's going to be a lot of so-called lootings. It's going to be a lot of people just dropping dead, man. I'm reading it again. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. That's right, man. That ultimately, that's going to lead to that. What's going to lead to that? These empty shells, man. Empty shells is inevitable, man. And it's coming. A lot of these food prices starting to go up. It's starting to go skyrocketing, man. There's a video I saw on TikTok of a guy that bought 4 items, and them 4 items end up coming up at least $60, man. And that was outrageous. And I was looking, I'm like, man, that's crazy. But through the Spirit, you should be rejoicing, man, because we know that the fall of Babylon the Great is right around the corner, man. If you're on the other side, if you're on the left side of Yahweh side, then the Lord is not going to save you, man. But we all know through the Spirit the Lord is going to take care of his elect, man. Matter of fact, let's get Isaiah chapter 65, the classic. The book of Isaiah chapter 65, verse 13. Therefore, thus said the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai power, behold, my servants shall eat. And who are the servants of Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai? The elect. Those are doing the will of the Father, man. Starting with the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone and us brothers down to the lowest level, We're those servants of Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai. Behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Verse 14, behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. So this is going to happen to a lot of these people. They're going to cry for howl. They're going to howl for vexation of spirit and sorrowful heart, because they didn't obey the words of the Lord, man. I'm talking about you Israelites, man. A lot of you Israelites are going to drop dead, man, because you ain't want to trust in your power. You want to trust in Esau, Edom. And ultimately, that's going to lead to your downfall. But I want to give all praises, honor, infinite glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakodas, to the next time, so long.